back to another video, guys. Today we're going to be going over the basics of the left-handed golf swing. So if you guys are new to the channel, check us out. We make content for lefties by lefties. Our goal is to be the biggest left-handed golf YouTubers and the best lefties on YouTube. Today we're going to be going over the basics of the golf swing. This is more for the people that have not really played much golf or have never played golf at all. We're going to be going over a few things, just get the basics down, talk about the bare minimum entry to golf here. We're going to talk about posture, grip, and alignment. Just remember, PGA. If you want to be on the PGA Tour, you got to get down the basics of the golf swing. So when it comes to addressing the ball, I'm going to stay with my feet about shoulder width apart. I've got an iron swing. We're going to cover the iron right now. I'm staying with my feet about shoulder width apart. I've got a little bit more weight on my front foot, probably about 60-40. I'm going to have a little bend to my knees, let my arms hang down naturally. This is where I'm going to grip the club. So you can see this is a natural grip here. I got my slight knee bend, got my hands low. This is how I'm going to grip the club. You can see I got that natural little bend, got that slight bend in my back here, got my hands hanging directly low below my chest. This is where I'm grabbing the club. And when it comes to the grip, there's a lot of different ways to grip it. Most people that jump in do a 10-finger grip. We call it baseball grip. They jump right in if they've not played a lot of golf. A lot of people will swing like this. It's not exactly the way that you want to swing the club. Most of the ways you want to grab the club are going to be either overlapping or interlocking. I choose to interlock. It's just what feels comfortable and natural for me. It helps give you a little bit more control over the grip, over the club face. Helps make that grip a little bit stronger without making it tight. Now, I'm not gripping this thing tight. I'm not flexing. Golf's not a game of strength. It's a game of finesse. I'm just grabbing this thing, and just like I'm holding on to, just like I'm almost trying to barely hold on to it, I'm letting the layout of my grip here create the strength. So I'll show you guys up close. This is how my hands are on the front. From the side, you can see I've got my club running just through the palm, kind of like where my knuckles are here. I just got it laying there. Same thing with my right hand as well. Got my right hand gripping it just like this, kind of at the base there. And then I go to overlap, I've got my thumb on my right hand coming just inside the palm, kind of the base of my palm on my left hand. That's going to be the basics of the grip there. So now I'm going to pair this with my stance. Again, slight bend in the knees, feet about shoulder width apart, a little bit more weight on my front foot, let my hands hang low, and then just like we talked about, I'm going to lay the grip just inside the base of my fingers there, or about where my knuckles are. Keep my index finger out here, interlock with my pinky. It's my choice. My thumb's going to be running down the grip just like this, and the rest of my hand is going to go just over top. I'll show you guys just like this. So again, I'm grabbing the club just like this. I'm letting my thumb go down the shaft, kind of pointing towards the club head. Fingers out. This pinky, gonna interlock. And now, where my thumb is going down the shaft, I'm gonna let just my other thumb and pinky kind of come just over the top of it. Ideally, you'll be able to see two knuckles on each side. If I'm holding the grip properly, you'll be able to see two knuckles on my right hand and two knuckles on my left hand. That's a neutral grip. Now that I'm ready, I've got my stance, I've got my grip down. I'm gonna work on about alignment. So one of the interesting things about golf is alignment is almost like a train track. So you kind of point not only with the club face. Alignment includes the club face, it includes my shoulders, my hips, my knees, my feet. There's a lot that goes into alignment. Most importantly, my target, wherever I'm trying to hit the ball, so just assume the flag stick in this case, or assume the flag stick in most cases, I'm pointing my club face, this is the club face, at the target. So this needs to be perpendicular. Imagine if there was a line coming right out of my club face, coming out kind of like this. I want this to be pointing at my target. So if my target, in this case, is the slide, I want my club face to be pointing at the target. Now I don't want my feet pointing at the target as well. I want them running parallel. This is how it's going to let the club work along your body and get you in all the right positions in the golf swing. So when my club face is at the target, I want my feet to be parallel. A good way to test it, just go ahead and throw a club down, and you can see that from the slide, my feet are parallel to that. So the slide, my target, my feet line is parallel to that. Now my knees are also going to be along the same line as my feet. So my knees, my hips, same thing, and my shoulders. So now I'm perfectly aligned. I got my club face lined up, got my feet, my knees, my hips, my shoulders all lined up. Now we're ready to start the golf swing. So now we've got our posture, grip, and alignment ready. We talk a little bit about the takeaway. So when you're taking the club away, you're supposed to take it away with your shoulders. I don't want my hands being active in the golf swing like this. I'm taking it away with my shoulder, and I'm almost taking my right shoulder and initiating a little bit of just a rotation here, almost like my spine is a hinge. So I'm initiating the start of my swing with my right shoulder. I'm keeping the club head kind of low to the ground, and I'm just rotating along. Like I said, if my back was a hinge, I'm going to try and maintain this spine angle, the same spine angle throughout my backswing and my follow through. It's one of the hardest things in golf. A little bit of flexibility is required. Let me show you from this way. So same thing. You can see got a little bit more weight on my front foot, grip, everything. I'm initiating that with my right shoulder. So my right shoulder is kind of taking the club back, and I have a wide. You can see I'm keeping my arms wide. I get this triangle created here between my shoulders and my hands. I can keep this triangle kind of steady throughout my golf swing. I'm getting here. We'll talk about a little bit the club face. So what's important is that my impact position when I'm hitting the golf ball is similar to this position I am at setup. I want my feet to be pointing along my target. I want my club face to be pointing at my target. So to keep, obviously the club face is not going to stay pointing at my target throughout my whole swing. It's going to rotate naturally along my shoulders as I take my club back like that. So I'll show you a little bit about this. When I'm taking the club back, I'm letting my wrists and my hands come back along my rotation naturally. You'll see that I'm not rolling the club face. If I have the club face pointing towards the sky, that's an open club face. That's going to lead to the ball going slicing off to the left. If my club face is pointing towards the ground, that's a closed club face. That's going to lead to my ball going right. So I want this club face to pretty much match the angle of my spine. You can see that when I take my club back, it's going to pretty much match the same angle as my spine, and that's a square club face. Let's go ahead and hit one. This ball should, as long as I got my stance, got my grip, my alignment, I'm going to practice my takeaway just like we talked about. So you can see that ball started right on my target, and that was a really solid strike. I'll show you guys again from this angle as well, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at. I have this grip, stance, look at my target, and it'll be just like that. So from this side, I'll show you guys, same thing. Got my ball, because I'm hitting an 8-iron in this case, my ball would be positioned inside my right foot. And what I mean by inside is I mean closer to my back foot. If it was outside my right foot, I'd have it up here. So inside my right heel, and maybe about a club head inside my right heel. So I'm gonna have the ball, because I've got an 8-iron, I'm gonna have the ball just about a club head inside of my right heel. So you can see here would be a good ball position for my 8-iron. The 8-iron has loft. I want to have it kind of back in a little bit more towards the middle of my stance, because I don't need to help the ball get in the air. I want to kind of strike back on it and let the loft do work. So we'll talk about this. You can see probably from this angle, you can see that my club face is square. You can see it's going to be kind of pointing directly at you guys. And we talked about that takeaway, just like we were talking about earlier with the club head. You can see I'm just naturally taking it back. I got that slight bend in my knees. My head's going to stay really still. And then this right arm of mine is going to stay very straight. My right arm is going to stay very straight throughout the entirety of my backswing. And this elbow on my left side is going to be tucked in, kind of pointing down towards my left pocket. So you'll see here, my right arm stays straight, my left arm is pointing down towards my pocket. So once again, we'll practice that. You see I'm connected here. I've got not much space between my left elbow here and my body. I'm staying connected. A good drill for that is taking a towel and placing it in there like this, inside your arms, kind of like this here. So again, my arm's straight. Once I get to the top, it's all on my wrist to hinge. This arm is staying straight, guys, so it looks like I'm super flexible, which it does take some flexibility, but it's mostly going to come to setting the club at the top of my swing with my wrist. So it'll take some practice, it'll take some flexibility, but I got my right arm straight, my left elbow tucked, and my wrists are hinged. That's what it's going to look like at the top. From this side, you'll see the same thing. My club head is going to be pointing along my feet, and then just like when my feet are along this line on the ground, when I'm at the top of my golf swing, my club should be pointing in the same direction, kind of towards my target. If I'm across the line like this, it's called laid off. If I'm across the line this way, it's just called across the line. So ideally, to have a perfect position at the top, your club is pointing along the same line as your feet. So from like that, it looks like this. Just like that. Set at the top and release the club in. Guys, if you have any other questions or you want to see any more videos, please leave us a comment, leave us some likes, let us know what you want to see next. I'm not a teaching professional or anything, but I played amateur golf my whole life, played in college. My team won the 2019 NCAAs. So I've been around the game and I've learned a lot from a lot of different people. If you guys want to start getting into golf, just practice these few tips we kind of talked about a little bit today. And hopefully this will help you at least get a good foundation started. So that way you can get to the range and get practicing. Before you look into any of the fine details, I would work on just the basics, just the fundamentals before you start working on trying to fix any ball flights. Let's develop that swing and make sure we're developing a strong foundation. Hit them straight.